7:15. Let's just get ourselves all set up. We're on Facebook.
And Instagram.
And we're on Instagram, I think, now as well. Yeah, and it's 7:15. And this evening, because it's an evening, not a Saturday morning, have you noticed? It's dark outside already. Yeah. We are joined by the Hug team. So, and when we've done our little cook-along, we're going to eat curry for our supper. So they are going to help. So if you have any questions, then do pop them through, and one of the guys will read them out. They will help us. I'm feeling a little bit under pressure, to be honest, because our production team are trained chefs. Yeah. So if I'm a little bit shaky, a little bit nervous, it's because I'm being watched by professionals. However, what has been good is we've been able to ask their advice on a few things, which has been excellent. Yeah. So this will be a very professional cook-along. Wow. So one hopes. And what are we making today? So we are having a midweek curry night. We are celebrating we're over the middle of the week, which is brilliant. Tomorrow is Thursday, and we're celebrating that. So we are going to do a chicken curry, and we're going to talk about the spices that we're going to use. We're going to add some lovely spinach into it as well, because we all know that leafy green veg is good for all of us, whether we like it or not. So in a curry sauce, it often disguises that for all of us.
Yeah, hopefully if your pup doesn't really like its leafy greens, like many don't, and it's a good way.
It's a funny texture,
help
isn't it?
disguise.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we are going to use our cookable chicken. Remember, obviously, we do a number of different types. So you don't have to have chicken curry. You could have pork curry. You could have beef curry. But always use our cookable product, because we take the bone out, so it's safe to cook. So let's just see if we are switched on and switched in with the old gas canister. Now we've used this old thing quite a while. So if it goes off,
there we go.
If the gas runs out, we have got...
We've done quite a few cooking shows now.
We have. I mean, we're busy this weekend doing more cooking demonstrations as well. So, but if it goes off, we've got another curry on the oven. So we're going to be all right. Okay, so we are going to pop our lovely chicken and pork. And obviously, our recipes also have a sprinkling of herbs on as well. So you've got a really nice base to start your curry with. So let's get that in there, and we'll start to give that just a little bit of a stir
around it up.
Yeah,
and there are vegetables already in there, but if you want to add in any extra that your dog might enjoy, then there's always a good addition.
Another great way of getting veg into the dogs as well. So this is heating up really nicely, actually. Now let's go through those spices that we're going to add.
So we're adding in some cinnamon, ginger, turmeric, and a bit of black pepper. So we're adding in obviously turmeric to make it more curry-like. We're not, as your notes, we're not really adding in those big spices that you normally see, because I don't think your dog would thank you, and you probably wouldn't appreciate it the morning after when you take them out for a walk.
Exactly.
So we're adding in some dog-friendly spices. So if you were thinking of getting adventurous, then just please double check before going to use any old spice that you might have in the cupboard, just to make sure that it is dog-friendly, because a lot aren't.
So why have we used? Let's start with cinnamon.
Cinnamon is a great anti-microbial. It's a good all-round
anti-inflammatory as well, which is great.
It's quite a nice addition. Adds some nice flavour to it, a bit of sweetness. If you want to add that, so you don't want to add too much, because again, too much of something, it can cause some digestive upset. So just in very small, quantities. So we've used about just under a teaspoon amount for the whole thing.
And also, remember, dogs' sense of smell, obviously, is far keener than ours as well. So we can smell a curry. Can you imagine if you've got a super smell ability, then obviously we don't want to put them off, because I mean they make a sniff and it all goes straight up their noses. So so now we are going to use a little bit of ginger. Obviously we don't want it to be super spicy, but ginger as well.
And it's a good
brings with it.
Obviously, anti-nausea.
Really good for the digestion.
Yes, yeah, really nice on the digestion. So it's a nice one to add in for your pups. And again, we're mimicking a curry, so you kind of want to give it a bit of a kick, but not again too much, because you know.
And I guess it doesn't matter, we're using some dry spices here, but with the ginger, for example,
ginger.
We've got a little bit of Cheats ginger there, so it's already cut. You could put a little bit of that in, but again, it's going to be stronger, so we need to make sure that we just use it sparingly. Or even, you have purees and things now as well.
Yeah,
so
you
there
just
is
with
that.
those sorts of things, so you just want to check the ingredients that there's nothing else added to it. Like got lots of garlic or something like that on some of your purees, but if it's just that's all it is, or just get a fresh root of ginger, cut up a little wedge.
The most purest
that's
form,
really nice as well to
add
in, nice and fresh. And then the turmeric, great anti-inflammatory, great for joints. You'll often see people when they're looking at joint care for their dogs that turmeric is often widely used, or a golden paste. And that's why we popped in the black pepper. And it's known to help activate it. There's an ingredient in it that is supposedly able to activate it, along with an oil. And obviously the fats from the meat and everything will help with that.
We've obviously got Ruth from our health team with us tonight as well. And we were having this debate, weren't we, Ruth, about why do you put turmeric and black pepper together? And you see it in the golden paste that we mentioned, and also you said, well, why? What does it do? And actually, I think it is. We sort of decided it is up for debate in terms of why the two have to come together. Is it the oil in the paste or the oil in the cooking that actually activates the turmeric? Is it the black pepper? Is there an element of the black pepper that does it? And actually, we thought, you know what? Pepper isn't going to hurt, a small amount of pepper isn't going to hurt.
Yeah.
If there is something in it that truly does make the turmeric more potent, but sort of, a little bit more useful, shall we say, then why not add it in?
Yeah.
Again,
but the turmeric as well just adds a nice curry colour.
And it is looking, we've done a little look there. It's a nice curry colour coming up as well.
What's
which is
the
fantastic.
question that
Nacho wants to know if he can taste it like he did at the festival.
Oh,
well, we'll try and send to London, but you'll have to give it a go with some of the food that you've got. Well, if you want to come over to Wiltshire, Nacho, then you're more than welcome to come over.
Oh, we could do we could do a Nacho on tour, and he could actually come and do.
Well, I think he'd happily do that and happily taste it. He was quite ready to go with a lot of the recipes. And
Somebody else has asked if they could see the two chefs that you've got on your team.
Oh, boys, they haven't got their makeup on. Shout hello, boys.
No.
And we were joking as well about the fact that I should be wearing a chef's hat.
Yeah.
They had to wear a chef's hat, they said. So.
Too shy.
Too shy. But no, they haven't got their lipstick on. That's the issue, isn't it? So, now one of the things, actually talking of the chefs, one of the things we did ask them was another debate. Should I add our beautiful kefir to the mix first before the spinach, or should I add the spinach and wilt it down and then finish off with the kefir yogurt? And what was the answer, boys?
Spinach last.
Yogurt first, spinach last.
Because spinach just disappears within seconds, so.
And we wanted to try and make this. Obviously we've talked about kefir before. We've talked about the benefits of sort of fermentation and how that actually supports your immune system, and your immune system focus in the gut.
Yeah.
So just like for us, eating fermented products, eating your yogurts with your probiotics in really supports good health. Exactly the same for dogs. But we also have talked about dairy isn't always the right option for
No, I mean, a lot
dogs
of dogs
either.
can be sensitive to dairy. Pretty much, if they've had it from puppyhood, then they're more likely to be okay. It's just the lactose is very, very hard to digest. So if a dog's got quite a sensitive digestion, they can be prone to being a bit sensitive to it. But there are some people that give it for the dog throughout the whole life and they're completely fine. So it's really based on the individual. So there's so many alternatives, if there's goat's milk kefir or there's
coconut. We're doing curry, for goodness sake.
Yeah,
I
you
love
just
coconut.
again
milk.
with that sort of with coconut, it can be quite fatty, so just don't overdo it too much with that. But you know, there's so many nice options now with natural yogurts and everything that whichever you might prefer to put in.
So I've sort of just really done a couple of handfuls of nice fresh spinach, and
Do you need any
it's
water?
looking good.
or-
I don't know. I think it's looking quite good. Although
Quite
I ought to go and show the chef, didn't I? Let's hope
So if you find that once you've added in the yogurt or kefir that it's still a bit dry, then you can always just add in a splash of water.
We've gone for a really low fat option here, so it doesn't matter. We just add a little bit more of that in, just
And
to
your
sort of get
dogs
it.
are okay.
Oh,
They're taste testers.
my dogs are quite happy. Unfortunately, a little bit like me, they do quite like their food slightly fatty.
That chose looking up the train time.
Oh,
Perfect.
wonderful! Let us
We'll
know.
pick
We'll
you
pick you
up.
up.
Save the fuel. Get at the moment. Get the
Yes,
train
yeah,
instead.
yeah, absolutely. Right, I'm going to turn that off now.
Yeah.
So
and then we can make the
yes, what are we going to serve with it? We're not going to serve rice, standard rice, because it's that old debate, you know, dogs don't need carbohydrate, they don't need the rice, they don't utilise it, and which is sort of odd because you find, you know, a lot of people will reach for chicken and rice as a standard food, but they don't need the rice. So we are
Yeah.
going to use cauliflower.
Yes, cauliflower rice. So the dogs are being nice and healthy. So that's just a nice, instead, you know, an insoluble fibre there. So it's just a nice addition instead of rice, like you said. It's going to be a bit kinder on their digestion, if they like cauliflower, that is. And if not, just serve it with a bunch of veg that they might enjoy. But so what we're going to do, if you want to make the cauliflower rice, you can also now just buy sachets of cauliflower rice if you can't be bothered to make it.
It's sort of on trend, isn't it? And you know, I found this in Aldi even. So
Yeah.
you know, you haven't got to go to any sort of big posh supermarket or what have
Yeah.
you. This is fabulous stuff. I've used it before. It's brilliant.
And again, if you're buying cauliflower rice, just double check the ingredients so there's nothing else added in that might not be
Yeah.
suitable for dogs.
Absolutely.
So what we're going to do is grate the cauliflower to make the rice essentially, and then at the end just squeeze out a lot of the moisture, just so it's not like a mushy pulp when you cook it, and then we'll fry it up. So I'm just going to put on and do that.
Keep that on a low heat, I think, just so it stays warm. And obviously, the other thing, you can put the cauliflower in a blender as well.
Yeah.
You know, so again, it depends on what you're most comfortable using, how much cauliflower you're grating, what time
Yeah.
you've got as well. I'm just going to keep that cooking through because that is looking and smelling
It's looking really good. It's looking very
delicious.
curry-like.
It's looking very curry-like, and I'm going to taste it, obviously at the end because I can, you know. So, but what we are going to do, because I did wonder when we were talking about cauliflower rice, I thought, well, do we just keep it raw? You know, because with a raw food diet, so with our working dog product, which you don't cook because it's got the bone in, but it's raw, we put our raw vegetables in. So,
Yeah.
so should we have just kept our cauliflower raw? But of course, if we want to have some additional value to that product, if we want the dog to absorb more of it, then actually lightly steaming it, which we're going to do in a little pan on
Yeah.
the heat,
Or, yeah,
just sort of
partially
helps
cooking
the
it.
digestion, doesn't
I
it?
mean, grating it helps break it down anyway a little bit. So if you did want to feed it raw, then that's fine. Cauliflower sometimes can be a little bit harder to digest, so just cooking it up makes it certainly a bit easier. So it's just down to personal preference. If you're like me, when grating, you'll probably find that there's bits of
Fingernail?
oh no, chunks of I'm being careful. Chunks of cauliflower along in the rice. That's the rice line.
All right, bigger chunks. All right.
Yeah.
And
I've been very careful with my fingers.
and she hasn't got any nail polish. Maybe you should wear nail polish so we can see if you grate your fingernail.
I promise I haven't.
So right, that is that. I think what we could do is we could mix it up a little bit, and we could try this one. They actually do a mixed broccoli and cauliflower one as well. So I guess you could actually mix your broccoli florets. And again, you know, if it's in the fridge and you've got it, there's no rules necessarily here with what veg, apart from the ones we know we can't feed. You know, we can't be doing our grapes, we can't be. Notice we're not putting onions in here or anything from the allium family actually. So And again, we've talked about that before. Why don't you feed onions? Because it can lead to anemia. So, you know, we steer clear of that. And that's why we're making the curry for the dog. You know, we have got a rather large pot of curry on the oven behind me. So, and of course we've got, boys, is it okay I put leeks and onions into our curry? I'm getting nods of approval. That's okay. I did tell them they could write to Mrs. Patak if there was any complaints, because she has given me a hand with the one that we're going to be eating later. So
and we have had comments sort of, do I need to do this for my dog? And it's, no, you don't have to. You can just feed as it is, but it's a bit of fun.
Exactly.
And why not, if you're doing a curry night and you've got friends with dogs and they're all coming over, then they can join in too.
Exactly. So I'm going to take this off the heat because we're going to do a little swapsy.
Yeah, so I'm just wringing out any moisture. It's actually it's getting a bit damp on there, but it's not wringing out much water, which is nice.
Right, I'm just going to put that there without burning the hairs up my arm.
Yes, don't burn.
That is low, I think now. We just want it just slightly. I'm going to move that out of the way. And then you want to mix a little bit of the
yes, I will
shot
into
port
the pan.
in the pan as well. So let's do a
Pop that
swapsy.
on there.
Can't wait, actually. This is don't set fire to the
No, that's what I'm trying to avoid.
the tablecloth as well. Let's move this out of the way.
There we go, and I'll move that. I'll let
clear that out of the way. Because of course we are also doing dessert because, you know, dessert's important. We all know that. Just going to give this other curry a stir while we're at it.
Great, so you could just fry it off just a little bit until it's just sort of softened. It doesn't take long where you've sort of minced it down. Yeah.
My grater's not the best, I have to admit.
Well, and the person grating.
No, I'm going to take these other big bits out. There we go, I'll have those later.
Yeah.
I could pop those in the curry, couldn't I?
Yeah.
Waste not, want not.
And, you know, if you've got a nice cauliflower stalk, some dogs like to chew on that, nice natural chew, but some dogs don't. It just depends.
Some dogs would just rather have the curry. You know,
yeah,
that's the way we do it.
Yeah.
So is that just softening? I've probably turned it down too low, have I? There
Just
we
turn
are.
it up a smidge.
So we've got our little bowl here ready to serve. And I have saved just a little bit of natural yogurty kefir to go on the top as well, which will look good. Okay, let's leave that with you there. There we are. I'm better get a large spoon, I think. Let's see where our best spoons are. Here we go, just to sort of get ready to serve that. So, let's get rid of
And
this.
you can also microwave this if you've got a microwave and you can't be bothered to stand over a hob and cook some cauliflower rice.
Well, not
stick it in the
slave over a hot stove for your dog.
Well, I definitely would. But if you're in a hurry and you want to quickly serve it, then that's fine. But again, remember to let it cool down before.
Let's go. I want to see this. I want to see the finished product so we can move on to pudding.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a pudding girl, obviously.
I think that is all okay.
Right. So, shall we just do a little? You okay with that spoon there?
Yeah. I'm gonna just do a bit.
Well, actually, that smells really good as well.
I do like cauliflower rice.
Good.
And a few chunks.
Cool. Now, obviously, remember, Vicky won't be tasting this because she's vegan, not because it's not delicious.
Yeah, I'll eat the cauliflower rice.
Yeah, you have the cauliflower rice. I think you're trialing the dessert, aren't you? So let's.
Yeah.
Oh, this is looking good. This is looking good. And I'm gonna go. We'll see. We'll judge whether we've got the ginger.
The chef's coming over to have a look.
Chefs. Oh yeah, so do we? Look, he'll say yeah, but just look at the state of the serving. You're like, that doesn't look particularly attractive, does it? So there we are. Now, if you had smelly vision,
It smells great.
does it smell good? The boys approve of the smell. So where's my fork? Let's see. Now then, will I need a little bit of yogurt? Let's have a look. A bit of spinach as well.
Saucy in it.
Comments are saying that it looks delicious.
Yeah, it's just really delicious. And actually, oh, the dogs are up.
Oh, Fletcher's here.
Sweetie, it's just a little bit too warm for you. That is really good.
And it's, without saying, just serve into the right meal size for your dog. So we're not
Absolutely.
expecting to feed this big bowl for, well, unless you've got a big
Well,
dog.
Raggy would like
Yeah,
a big bowl of curry.
he's
actually,
a big dog. But if you've got a small dog, don't expect them to, well, I'm sure some might happily eat the whole bowl, but you might be dealing with
Depends what
consequences
breed of dog
after.
you've got.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to just let this cool because the
Yeah.
boys are now pacing the kitchen. Not the furry boys.
It's human grade, you can have taste too.
Absolutely. They didn't realise this is what I've made our chicken curry
Yeah.
out of as well. Okay, and actually the boys know what goes in it because they are the guys that make it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to remove the savoury dish now.
Yeah, and we're going to move on.
And we're going to move on to dessert. Now you are dessert queen in terms of the baking, aren't you, and the cooking. So I think, Vicky, let's get you lined up for that. So we are doing a mango sorbet.
Yeah.
And that sort of felt like the sort of pudding that you'd have in an Indian. It's always sort of you know,
Yeah.
banana fritters. And obviously we've done our banana ice cream before, so you could do your banana ice cream if you don't fancy the mango. But what was interesting is, it's a little bit cheaty, you can get some great frozen mango now.
Yeah.
And actually, I think the key is if you're using fresh mango, you need to chop it and freeze it first. I don't know whether freezing does something to it, but that's what the recipe book suggested.
Yeah, or you can just blend it and then whack it in the freezer. It might just be a bit hard when you come to
Maybe
serve
you've
it.
got to
Unless
wait.
you've got a fancy ice cream maker and you want to make your own sorbet.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's pretty easy to make.
That's upside down.
Yeah.
Lovely. Oh.
So all we're doing is we're putting the frozen mango in, a bit of lime juice, smidge of water, blending, that's
And
all it is.
serve.
So it's very, very easy, suitable for you and your pup. So yeah,
Let's give it a go then. Let's give it a go. And we will be having this for dessert, guys, as well.
So hopefully,
We might just do it a bit at a time. So I went to town and bought 2 bags of mango.
so
chunks.
depending on your blender, you might need to take some out a bit before to get this to soften a little bit,
Yeah.
because otherwise you might break your blender.
This would be a good test actually. We took it out probably about half an hour ago, didn't we?
It's still quite solid.
Yeah.
I guess it's not summer anymore.
A little bit of, and then do you think we'd squeeze the lime in now as well? Wait till we
I
blended
think
it a bit
so,
first.
Yeah.
Give it
Give it a go. I might add a
There's
bit of
water
water.
there. Should I pour a bit in?
Yeah, I'll add.
That might just make it soften it a little bit as well.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just spooning it in because knowing me, if I try and pour, then mango will go everywhere.
Right, let's see if the old.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. Right, let's get the smidge of lime in and a bit
I
more
think,
water. Probably
yeah.
I'll just do it straight over there. I would maybe.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna squeeze a bit in. Again, you don't need too much because that's a lot of citric acid. So I'm just using
Excellent
half,
stuff.
and this just helps with the freezing, so it doesn't go
Actually,
too hard.
The other half of lime can go in my gin, shouldn't it? I think I've got my eye on that. Okay. I think we probably need to get a spoon in there, or a little fork, perhaps.
If you want the spoon.
There we are. Actually, the little fork gets it all perfect. Oh, it's almost quite, you can sort of quite, you get the texture, it's quite slushy now, so that's good.
Maybe
A bit more water.
Yeah.
We'll see how good this old blender is now as well. It's probably gone all up underneath now. Let's have a go. Ready? It's gone up underneath the blade. But oh yes, that's starting to go actually. That
Very
is
nice.
starting to go. There we are.
How many people does it take to make a sorbet?
How many utensils can we stick into the
Yeah.
blender? There we go. There we go. Smells absolutely delicious actually. Okay.
Right.
Oh, look at that.
That's good.
That is it. A little bit of patience and
So it's done, I think.
yeah, I think otherwise we'll end up with it being a little mush.
Right.
So let's serve it in our ice cream.
And the perks of this, you don't have to let it cool before serving.
Oh, that looks so good.
This is yummy. This actually looks like when
Right.
you buy it.
This one for me. Can I have this one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
And we'll have to share with the dogs as well.
Mmm. Oh, yes. That is delicious. That is really fresh, actually.
I'm very impressed with how easy that is to make. So I'm just gonna.
All you've got to watch is brain freeze.
Let's try some.
But I'm really impressed with that. That is so nice.
Oh my god, that is really good.
Excellent stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on our Wednesday night cook-along.
Yeah.
We are going to do our next one in about a month's time, and it just so happens that it falls on Friday, November the 5th.
Yes, so if you're not going out, as many dog owners aren't because of firework night that weekend, then come join in and we'll have a bit of fun and hopefully create a bit of a distraction for those pups.
We
that
thought
might be
it's much
scared.
nicer to eat with your dog indoors while the fireworks are going outdoors. So we're going to have our own bangers, as in sausages,
Yeah, yeah.
for bonfire night.
But
So-
we'll be saving these live, so do share with your friends, and then let us know in the comments if you'd like to see any other recipes or anything.
Any feedback?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, team,
Thank you.
for your support. And goodbye from us. Thank you very much. I'm going to get a bit more of this, actually. Perhaps it works as a starter as well as a dessert. Mmm.